Welcome back to another guide video for Diablo 2 version 1.06, and it's going to be everybody's favorite, the Barbarian, who is kind of synonymous with the old patches, with the pre-expansion era. A character that is considered to be the best character of that era. Definitely the best boss killer at the very end game. A little bit slower before that, but it offers a lot of nice skills to make him a valuable party member. And obviously, once you get that gear going, he can be the best damage dealer in the game. So, regarding the Barbarian, looking at his stats, obviously as a Barbarian he doesn't have any use for the mana, so you're going to start low on energy and never bother with adding points into energy, despite the lack of mana potions. That has to do with the fact that there are so many items in the game that offer you damage taken goes to mana, mana leech, all that stuff. You'll be relying mostly on those things to get your mana back instead. Very early you can try to gamble for Infernal Cranium, only for 2,500 gold. That has 20% damage chain goes to mana. That's the easiest item to get early on to gamble for. That can give you that can fix basically your mana problems for the first portion of the game. Other items are Hands of Brock with 3 mana leech, Gorf with 2% mana leech, and Night Smoke is a really cool thing. If you can get your hands on that, 50% damage taken goes to mana. They'll fix that. The other stats, obviously, Vitality will need that. Since you're a melee character, you'll be at the front. However, the Barbarian can actually get away with investing into Vitality a lot less at the early phase of the game, because he does get a good amount of extra life for each point. And also having Battle Order available, he can temporarily buff his life by quite an amount. Dexterity and Strength is actually interesting. You might want to consider some points in the Dexterity just at the beginning, not just for being able to handle multiple weapons. Definitely need some Dexterity for the pikes and lances if you go in that route. But even if you go for hammers, getting some Dexterity for base defense is nice. And aside from that, looking at the breakpoints, we have some really good ones when it comes to blocking, decent at least. Actually not that great compared to the Paladin or the Amazon, but still kind of acceptable. Like getting to having an 8-frame animation is not that terrible. The only way to increase this is with Colwyn's Point, by the way. Like that's the only item that increases your block rates. So, with hit recovery, he is among the best with the Paladin. Those two have the best frames on that one. It's just like, basically like LD. Just the breakpoints might be a little bit different here, but again, that has to do with the itemization of the game. The fact that you can't get these high numbers. Because of that, the breakpoints are easier to achieve. Now, when it comes to cast rate, it's actually kind of funny that the Barbarian still, even back in these days, did share his breakpoints when it comes to casting with the Sorceress, which means he has the fastest possible cast rates with 7 frames, with 75 cast rates from your gear. That is possible. You can get down to 7 frames with just 75 cast rate, faster cast rate. So silly, it's not like you can use it for anything, but it's sometimes nice to be able to quickly cast your battle cry or your war cry. And those are all skills that are valuable and can be useful. So, having said all that about the breakpoints, let's get into the game. Share the screen here and let's have a look at the Barbarian. One of the classes that starts with the shield, 25% blocking chance, nice. Nice to have a shield. And it always stays 25, it's not like it's gonna start, it will start being useless at one point. We'll keep that blocking chance. Now, looking at the skills though, you do have all your 6 masteries, as you know, and since you cannot respec, it makes it kind of tough for people to make that decision here. So they usually want to decide right away on which weapon to go for. And what I'd like to do, just to show that how I built my Barbarian, I just picked one into each weapon I might end up using, even throwing weapons, because I felt like it. So you can go 1 point at the throwing weapons. Every additional point is only going to increase the attack rating, but if you get like 1 point in here, 1 point of the mastery, you have like 50% attack rating already. That's pretty nice. It's actually really good. Aside from that, I picked up swords, which are kind of nice in the beginning because they're a little bit more flexible than other weapons. You can actually use a sword one-handed, two-handed with a shield, either two-handed or one-handed with a shield, which gives you the option to get that extra safety as well, especially on hardcore. So it's a nice weapon to have. Obviously, I knew that the endgame weapons for me are going to be either Martel or Lance, so I put 1 point into each here. Also, the Pike is one of the best early game two-handers with reasonable weapon requirements. While with the Mace Mastery, you have a nice one-handed option with the Warhammer, which does a great amount of damage, and with attacks like Double Swing, which don't rely on attack speed, you can do some good stuff there. You can, if you're not relying on attack speed, means you can pick the beefiest one-handers you can find. Doesn't matter how slow they are. Like, you can just pick 2 Warhammers and start throwing those around. Now, I did want to actually go into trying to these harpoons out for double throw, and I did so actually on an edited character, and it looked pretty decent. So I wanted to try it out with a regular character as well. Haven't gotten there yet. I'm still trying to level this Barbarian to get there and get enough points for dexterity, but the skill can be okay, viable. It's a level 12 skill. Putting in 1 point and using it on normal. Why not? But sometimes you have a dangerous enemy in front of you, lightning enchanted, or something like that. You just want to avoid getting right in front of its face, to face it like that. You'll probably start off with something like dash or double swing. Now, double swing is probably the best leveling strat here, because you can use as I mentioned before, you can use slow weapons. You can use 2 Warhammers, and they still start swinging very fast. Let's actually demonstrate that. We have to go to Act 3 to buy those. I have a bone snap here. More to that later. More about that later.
It looks cute to be took.
So let's demonstrate that. Now these weapons should not really be that fast, right? It says slow attack speed, and even especially if you use frenzy, but even frenzy has the same thing as double swing. Attack speed doesn't really matter in this regard. Let's battle order up and start. Now, the damage is not good on those hammers, but as you can see, I can swing them fast, I can keep frenzy maintained. Skilling into frenzy is only gonna increase your attack rating and the duration of the speed boost, running speed boost, not the attack speed. Same goes for the double swing and the double throw. There's no damage increase at all, which kind of makes it tough to use throwing weapons. Still, I would like to demonstrate that as well. And maybe for that we might go into normal difficulty. Or actually, let's stay here. I want to showcase how good they can be in hell, maybe. Maybe they can be good enough
What do you need?
for hell if we go to another act. Let's say Cold Plains Act 1, hell difficulty. It shouldn't be that strong, but it actually does some decent damage. And the attack speed is just ridiculous, again. It also doesn't matter which base weapons you use. Obviously we're going to run out of ammo pretty soon, but the double throw works. Now if we could get a harpoon instead and throw that one, well, I will love that and combine that with frenzy. I've been thinking about a way how to best make that, or to make that possible in the best way, but also I'm lacking some attack rating here. I don't have the I have some decent attack rating gear here. Other ring could be a little bit better maybe, but it also I also need the leash, so I'm not that versatile at the moment. Anyway, having displayed those skills, there's other stuff. There's leap attack, which does a good amount of that chunk of damage at the early phase of the game. Can be huge if you want to beat up Mephisto in the early phase of the game. And you can see I can just one-shot these guys. So it's a powerful attack. It has a very high multiplier. It's 30% damage per level. The mana cost stays the same. And alongside leap attack you also have leap, which is also a pretty underrated skill. Just having the ability to knock stuff back. This is just a low level leap, but the more points you put into it, the bigger the radius of the knockback. Then we have a Whirlwind 2, but I'm not going to demonstrate that yet. It's also interesting that we have that combat shriner as well. So leap attack is a nice one. Out of the other attacks here, concentrate, stun. Concentrate is kind of meh, doesn't increase the damage. Stun, the same thing. Stun is basically only there for the stun effect, but I do believe with leap attack you have the ability to knock back your opponent in case you basically stun him. all the time. Even if you don't land an actual hit, you're still knocking him back a little bit. And you can actually knock back everything on screen with leap. So it doesn't seem to be a need for stun. Stun is kind of meant in a way for you to keep attacking the same targets and keep him locked in that stun effect, but not really worth it. Bash is really amazing, actually. For a level 1 skill, and this might be a skill you want to push instead of leap attack if you want to, you can just go into Bash. Not only do you get like the magic arrow of the Amazon, you get that 1+1 flat damage per level, but per skill point invested, but you also get 50%, 50%, and then 5 additional percent per level on damage. That's a big amount. And it also has a knockback effect, which can be useful, especially in this version of the game where you're not just running around killing stuff like that at the beginning, and it's more about survivability, especially when you're in hardcore. So that's a nice skill to have. Now, Berserk is a trap. Berserk does not turn your attack into a magical one. There is only a certain amount of damage that gets turned into magic damage, which is, you can see here, it's 65%. You're still doing a lot of physical damage there. So if you attack something with in the Chaos Sanctuary and you got Iron Maiden on top of you, you will probably notice that it doesn't prevent you from taking damage. You'd still take damage from the Iron Maiden. So I haven't figured out its uses yet. I can imagine it's meant for physical resistant enemies, like stuff like ghosts and itchies and some of the other stuff. Souls are a little bit physical resistant. I believe some of the undead enemies have physical resistance. Just stone skin enemies in general. So much for that. Now, looking at the combat masteries, you got your typical approach here with increased stamina and increased speed, just 1-point wonders. You could consider putting more into increased speed, but if you use if you go into battle command later and you get additional plus skill gear, then you won't really need to put any extra points in there. And I think it's better to keep that for more important stuff. And 1-pointed iron skin, and yeah, I did put a lot of points into natural resistances. It's amazing, actually. Allowing myself to be more flexible with the gear, that's a must to have. There's so many nice items that you could get. Like, for example, Hand of Buck, like this belt, for example. These boots have 30 faster one walk, 33 MF, and 16 strength. They don't have a lot of rest, but I don't need the rest. I got 9 natural resistances. Before we dive into the Whirlwind, I'll just have a quick overview here about the Warcries. Yeah, you got your typical stuff that you take. Shout you can combine with Battle Order and Battle Command. I usually don't bother because you only have 8 keybinds. Everything has to go a little bit quicker here, so didn't bother with that. But I did pick up Battlecry, and Battlecry is underrated, nice skill to have. But most Barbarian veterans probably know about it. And yeah, it's nice to have the minus the enemy defense, similar to inner sight of the Amazon. Just getting this ability to decrease the enemy's defense, but also to decrease the enemy damage as well is quite amazing. And to have both of that in one skill is, I think that's an advantage that the Barbarian has towards other classes with that skill, that particular skill. Yeah, this is one you definitely want to pick up. You might even put more skills points into it if you want to, but I think it's a 1 point wonder. We have the Warcry here, which is not a damaging skill in this variant. And I've been trying to create a Barbarian with Jamel Editor to maybe make a damage build with it, but it could work, but it's so mana hungry. It's not worth it. However, it can be used to stun enemies. That can be great for an 8-man run. If you make a team play, if you run as an 8-man team, you can have a Barbarian be the support character with battle orders, especially since he's so gear reliant, so heavily relying on gear. At first, yeah, you can just make sure that he gets his battle order up, gets appointed to battle cry, war cry. Just the typical stuff. Gets leap attack for mobility and for stunning stuff. You can put more points into leap, stun more enemies on the screen. You can even get stuff like find potion. No, find potion, find item, and Grimward. Grimward is not worth it, but it's still well, it's not actually worth it. I was thinking about using it maybe in tough spots when you're surrounded, but something about the fear mechanism is that it works sometimes and sometimes it doesn't, and it's very unreliable. And the radius is terrible. Just noticed. I never bothered with it. The upside of it wouldn't be that great to begin with. It's basically all like how. It doesn't do anything else in this version of the game. Find item is only offering you one extra drop from each body. Like one item, random item that you can orc out of the body. Even from uniques and champs, it doesn't make a difference really. Each body gets treated equally, and you have just this chance of getting maybe an additional item, random one. Now, find potion is, as I said before, I would find it interesting in a speedrun setting, like an 8-man run, just because of the fact it's find potion and you have chances for mana and regen. So, being able to get mana potions suddenly makes this skill so much better in this particular version. The lack of mana potions makes the skill so much more valuable. It's actually something to consider for a team. Now, obviously, a lot of these skill points are going to be dead points by the end. You're not going to be able to get them back. However, it can be worth it if you're playing as a team. And you will probably still be able to kill stuff. You'll probably still be able to max out your damage on Whirlwind and your weapon mastery. And have enough points to, I don't know, pick up stuff like 1.2 Berserk if you want that, or leap attack, or leap, or get more into resistances, get some battle order, which kind of caps off at level 13. That's where you have to put in, from 13 onwards, you have to put in multiple points in order to get the next extra percentage. So it does increase the duration, but not the amounts. So I stopped doing that since I was on single player anyway with this character. Okay, let's showcase the Whirlwind now. The thing that actually matters. And you can see it doesn't work. It does not work properly if you don't have enough attack rating. Now, this weapon doesn't have attack rating. The previous one I had has a lot of attack rating, but it's also pretty broken. This is an imbue that I had that is very powerful. I didn't want to showcase this. I wanted to showcase a weapon that is somewhat achievable. And one way to fix that is by using Battle Cry. But even that doesn't help, since I'm a little bit underleveled. And I struggle with the mana, so what can you do? There is another secret regarding these type of weapons. Which is that the pike, because of its high range, gets more rolls to do damage. Doesn't always work, but we are landing more hits with the pike. Especially when we are on the level like, oh, 52 should be fine actually. One thing you want to pay attention to as well is having enough mana leech, which I currently do not have mana and life leech. And so to put a damper in the Whirlwind's story here, you need attack rating. You need a ton of attack rating in order to make it work. You need gear to make the Whirlwinds work on hell difficulty. So you want to progress slower with the Barbarian in general. You want to farm a Nightmare instead and try to get a decent weapon there. Try to get some more attack rating. By the time you're in hell and get some good attack rating, then you're suddenly hitting stuff and murdering stuff with a pretty brutal weapon like this. Again, it's just having small amounts. I also didn't put in all my points to Whirlwind, actually. Let's do that. Let's add some points to Whirlwind. Try it again with the hammer, but I don't think it really does much for me. A little bit. It actually helps, yep. That's actually might have been the trick we needed. But, yeah, it seems really nice now. 642 is not a lot. Now, what you can do, however, is if you're lucky, you can get one of these, and then it's showtime. Never mind doing that with a lance like this. I mean, my damage just skyrockets. And I'm basically in the zone now. Now, obviously, once you get to the CS, you have to be careful with the Iron Maiden. Let's see if we can get there. Time and well, let's grab that potion as well in order to demonstrate that. I want to make sure that you enter the CS a little bit carefully. And take one enemy at a time. Don't try to kill too much. If you are not sure if you got some Oblivion Knights there that might cast Iron Maiden. These guys burn on the mana. So if you don't want to waste a valuable mana potion, you can always do this, especially in this town. In this act, it's actually pretty nice works. Look at that, we got a mana shrine. Okay, you know, we got an Oblivion Knight here. And if you are careful, you can manage to avoid getting cooked by the Iron Maiden,
What do you
which
need?
is really nice, because if I'm on a hardcore character here. Now I'm keeping in mind of the curses, as well as how many Oblivion Knights I have, how many enemies I have, how many enemies are next to me. And if you do that properly, you should be able to stay alive. What is fire enchanted and magic resistant, and has a ton of stuff on him. Mana burn as well, which is terrible. And you can see how I whirlwind. Try not to whirlwind on top of these guys. Try to avoid the red beam here that can burn my mana. And easy peasy. Lemon squeezy. Check the gear. Nothing interesting. I guess I can sell the armor. Guess you can grab a mana potion or a healing potion if you want to. Why not? And as you can see, I'm not panicking. Not panicking. We got Iron Maiden here. Okay, that's actually interesting. Let's see if we can get one down. And you see, that's not a lot. That is a lot. So you can kill an enemy. That should work. But you gotta be careful if you hit like 2 or 3 enemies at once. And you can do it even with a weapon like this. Just be mindful. Just be mindful of how you do it, when you do it. That is the trick with the whirlwinds. It's fun, actually. It's fun to play the game like this. It's fun to not be like, you know what, I don't care if you cast anime on me, I'll still whirlwind. And to test your luck. There's something fun about that. So you want to keep that in mind. One way to get rid of Iron Maiden, if you got Iron Maiden cast on you, is look at the curve. Let's say I have Iron Maiden on me. Now I want to get rid of it. I run very close to him and wait for the decrypt, and it's gone. The thing is, the Oblivion Knights are hardwired to cast decrypt if you get close to them, and you can avoid Iron Maiden by just getting close to Oblivion Knight, wait for him to cast decrypt, and then whirlwind him over. And the decrypt usually doesn't last that long, but you're fine. Anyway, that's about it for the Barbarian. I hope you liked what he had to offer here, and I'll see you next time.